Bolivia, officially a plurinational state of Bolivia. It is located in the central western region of South America. La Paz Foundation is a private, not-for-profit organization with 40 years promoting social and humanitarian development of children, young, and women in vulnerable situations. In Bolivia, we started the first pilot project with Spider in 2013, with training in 3 public educational units in the municipality of La Paz, with very good results. In 2011, the government gave laptop computers to all public educational teachers in an attempt to modernize education, but they did not explain how to use them, or the classes were insufficient. So the training we gave, thanks to Spider, was very well received. The way we reached the teachers was that we went to the educational units to give the training, prior agreement with the principals and parents. We went 2 or 3 days a week, and the teachers dedicate a few more hours of work to have the classes in the computer labs of the educational units, although some carried the computers that the government gave them. They were also given supporting material, such as a guidebook, tutorials, and CDs with softwares. In each session, it was explained how to use the program through a data, and then the teacher had to do the same in their computers, applying digital tools in the subject they teach. We also had dialogue tables with the students. We met with representatives of each level and educational unit, and we asked them through dynamics and games if their teachers were applying ICT tools in classes and what their perceptions were. They dialogued in groups and comment on how they would like to improve their education with ICTs. It was a meeting and exchange activities between students from different educational units that showed us some results. At the end of the training time, we did an act of delivery of certificate, which was also appreciated by the teachers who always expressed their gratitude for the training and asked for more. With the arrival of the pandemic and the suspension of face-to-face classes at all the levels, the educational suffered an unprecedented and unexpected changes. Classes were initially suspended, and everyone thought it would be temporary. But as the pandemic grew and became stronger, time passed and it was more difficult to replace. So initially it was decided to use social network to continue classes. The big problem in Bolivia is the lack of internet connectivity. In La Paz City, due to its topography full of mountains, several sectors has not access to internet, especially in marginalized and rural areas that don't have neither signal or optical fiber. According to the data collected, only the 16.9% of students and the 80% of teachers who participate in the training have internet at home. This adds at the fact that only 44% of students have any hardware to access the classes. They usually have one cell phone per family, but neither children or adolescents have their own. Therefore, there was no way to continue with classes if a percentage of students did not have access to a cell phone or computer or internet. Nevertheless, the classes tried to continue. The most used tool was WhatsApp, because most of the teachers and parents were familiar with it, and it does not consume as many megabytes as a video conference. Teachers create WhatsApp groups with their students and send them PDFs with tasks, audios, or text with the topic of their subject. The student replied sending pictures of their notebook with the homework. The attendance list was taken with an initial greeting in a message that each student sends to the group. Faced with the pressures from parents and teachers, especially in rural areas, in August 2020, it was decided to suspend the whole scholar year, since it was not fair that some students can access to education while others can't. The government suspends classes, but with the promise to take advantage of the time to reorganize the educational methodology at a distance and through ICTs. Improve internet connectivity throughout the country to start in 2021. In the meantime, and thanks to the Spider's contribution, we started the ICTs training project, called ICTs for Education in Times of COVID-19. Now the teacher had time and the obligation to train. In this new context, digital literacy is an urgent need. Before pandemic, management of ICTs in education was an option or an extra knowledge. In this new context, the syllabus can only be taught through ICTs. Thus, many principals and teachers contacted us, even those who had been training before, asking for training in the use of educational platforms and video conference systems that were new topics for everyone. We also have to adapt the changes and give the classes through Zoom, the most popular video conference medium here in Bolivia. We also had to modify the content taught, always according to the needs of the teachers, including the use of Google Drive, Classroom, video conference systems, and social networks from an educational approach. Since teachers have different level of knowledge of use computer, many used it as a typewriter only, while others were already more familiar. We also include an office model in the training from an educational approach. For example, we teach how to create Word documents that have tables, images, or diagrams, use Excel to process grades, and make good presentations in PowerPoint. The teachers show a lot of interest. Most of them attended classes from their cell phones, from very varied contexts or places, some from their alternative jobs, such as selling on the street. They attended classes in their kiosks. Another from squares or streets or cars that had free Wi-Fi connection nearby. Another interesting situation was the fact that they attended classes with their whole family at home. Sometimes the father and mother were teachers and they took classes with their son who helped them in some practices. Some old people together with their grandchildren to be able to ask for help with the computer or the cell phone. All the sessions we recorded and sent to the participants. We used in the training the same tools that we taught them. For example, Classroom, Zoom, and YouTube. They could watch the classes again as many times as they wanted. Even some participants asked permission to share this video with colleagues and family that were not participating in the training or were out of La Paz. This is how we arrived at the rural town named Irupana, located at 72.4 kilometers from La Paz, in a subtropical region where coffee and fruits are grown. The teachers contacted us and had a training with good participation and interesting result. Working with the psychologist motivation of the participants was a very important point for the success of the project. The confinement, the changes, and the new educational methodology were overwhelming and stressing for teachers, some of them more than 60 years old, that were afraid of losing their jobs. We explained to them that it's normal to do not know or face fear on a new situation. The important thing is to be patient and take time to practice until get better at it. That we are experiencing a reversible change in education, and we must understand that every change involves a process that must be taken step by step. The trainers motivate the teachers to follow the classes and celebrate their achievement, always trying to help them from our possibilities in distance. This aspect was also recognized by the participants. Motivation, practically, and the patience of all the trainers. Now that the school year has been reactivated, there are still many needs and adjustments to make. But the teachers who had the training are more confident and applying the ICT tools with their students. We also saw the need to give some training to the parents, especially for the ones who have small children. So we suppose that young students already know how to use ICTs resources. The truth is that they are more familiar with only the use of social network and entertainment tools, not so much of educational platforms. So a training made at students and parents are also necessary. But this time it will be the already trained teachers who replicate their knowledge to students and parents to have a greater reach.